So not a word I would normally use, particularly not as attached to a woman, but it is appropriate. Oprah Winfrey decided to go full whore for Kamala Harris. You know about the payments that the Kamala Harris team made to entertainers and famous people in order to get them to interview her and such. But why would they need to pay for that? This is something that's probably unique to someone who's worked in media a long time, who can communicate why they would be willing to pay Oprah to interview her. But they didn't pay Oprah, that they paid her production company. There is a difference. It's a slight one, but there's a difference. But there is a reason they did this. It's not because they needed to pay to get the screen time, because other people would have given them the screen time. There's a reason, and I think I can explain to you what it is, but it takes someone in the business to understand this, I think. Sometimes it takes someone in the business to have to decide how broken the business is. My friend Steve, who is the managing partner of Renew.Healthcare, he is a quant. He's a hedge fund guy. He uses the skills God gave him with math and high-level math and quantum physics and all that stuff to make huge money. And having been very successful, he landed in the successful position until he got a very bad disease. And doctors in America said, hey, adjust your expectations for life. You're going to be in a lot of pain. You're not going to golf. That stuff is over for you. So being a guy with massive intelligence, he went about a search worldwide of where he could actually get treatment, and he went to the Middle East. And he got stem cells from umbilical cords and placentas, not from abortion. Steve is a godly man. It worked. He looked at that and said, why is this over here? He came back and said, I want to open a clinic in the United States. They said, you can't, because using stem cells like that, live stem cells, is illegal. Your surgeons and other doctors will tell you, oh, we do this here. They don't. They don't use live stem cells. They don't culture stem cells. They don't get to do that here. It's illegal. That's thrown out as medical waste. At Renew.Healthcare in Mexico, Steve has built that clinic. I've been there twice. Professional golfers go there constantly because their business is like a repetitive stress injury waiting to happen, their lower backs. So if you've been told you have to have surgery, you have to be on drugs for the rest of your life, there is no hope. Go find out if there actually is hope. It's Renew.Healthcare, and they'll tell you if they can help you. Oh, by the way, update on Steve. The place he and his wife have down there is on the golf course. He's golfing every day. Renew.Healthcare. So it had been reported that Oprah Winfrey's company, Harpo Productions, had taken a $1 million fee from Kamala Harris to be interviewed. It's now been reported that it's much more like $2.5 million, this from the Daily Beast. $2.5 million bucks. Why? Would Oprah Winfrey not have interviewed Kamala if her production company wasn't paid? I mean, think of all the stars they got to bring in. As Oprah explains here, all the stars they got to bring in.
Brian Cranston! I hear Chris Rock is in the house. Chris, where are you? Chris Rock is in the house. Ben Stiller, Jennifer Lopez, Tracy Ellis Ross. Jennifer Lopez! Where are you, Jennifer? Yes! Tracy Ellis Ross, where are you?
Who is that, by the way?
Tracy
Tracy Ellis
Ellis,
Ross.
where are you on the screen? Tracy Ellis.
Yeah, but I know who she is.
Julia Roberts, where are you? And Miss Meryl Streep is in the house. So glad to have all of you familiar faces and those of you who are not.
So they're not in the house. They're on a Zoom call. Why did Kamala Harris have to pay for this? Well, let's start with that. By paying Harpo Productions could turn around and pay those celebrities. So there's only one payment. So do I know that Bryan Cranston was paid to appear on a Zoom screen? No, but you start to spend time in the media business, you start to understand some things. Those guys like to be paid, but there's something else. And this is probably much more why. This is probably the bottom of it. The production was an utter embarrassment. Kamala Harris couldn't answer a question. She couldn't keep her thoughts straight, even with the presence of, it seems, a teleprompter. Someone wrote the show for Kamala. Oprah's team's not going to do that. Someone owned the process of production. Someone scripted this or was hired to script it. In media, he who pays the bills usually has the control. He who has the copyright normally has the control. The payment was probably for control methodology to make sure the show was written and produced to the taste of Kamala Harris's team so you could have incredible moments just like this.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on.
It was for moments like that. By paying the bill and paying Harper Productions, they got to have a license for things you wouldn't normally have. Like, here are the questions. Here are the people who's going to answer them. Here's some words to place up on a teleprompter for Oprah to ask Kamala, so Kamala can look up at the teleprompter and pretend to answer them. The scandal's not the money. The scandal is the fact that Oprah Winfrey chose to go full whore and allow herself to be used this way by Kamala Harris and did not disclose it to her audience. Anyone who ever watches anything political on Oprah again should understand she's willing to go full whore. And a lot of us have been given these opportunities, a ton of us. The first year I worked in real radio, I was offered a bribe to interview a politician, to ask him the questions he wanted to be asked. Had I done that, I never would have stopped doing it. Because the first trick you turn is always the hardest. After a while, you just get in the car and you let the John drive. Something I used to tell my staff in D.C. Solution, don't turn the first trick. Do not sell out. Do not lie. Do not deceive. That's what Oprah decided to do. For what? Earthly power. So Oprah has had her reward. She's a powerful woman on earth.